off that damn row.
And we happen to be going to the pub.
All right, I'll switch it off then.
Oh, Mr. Ferris.
I brought these. Well, I've a few too many, and perhaps you could...
Oh, that's very kind.
They brighten things up.
Yes.
He was a good man. It's a terrible shame.
He died where?
Just here. According to forensic evidence, he stepped off the pavement there. The car came out of the junction over there, hit him, didn't stop.
Wrong side of the road?
Oh, the tires showed it turned the corner fast. I would have needed all the road to do it in.
Yes. So, where was he going?
Well, he was walking his dog like any other decent, home-loving citizen.
This place seems to be full of them. The epitome of respectability.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
And boredom? The two sometimes go together.
Oh, no. It's just a matter of scratching the surface.
No, it's a matter of digging below it. I'd like to uncover a lot more than boredom.
Well, if there's anything more to find...
So how far have you dug?
Give it time.
You've had 3 weeks. That's time enough.
Morning, Aldersley.
Good morning, Sullivan. Lovely morning.
Like it?
No.
Casamilla.
It's not called that.
No, it's just my name for it. One of the terms of my lease. Water the plants and feed the tropical fish. Don't call them goldfish here, they prefer tropical fish.
£25 a week.
What?
To rent this house?
Oh, no, it's criminal.
Well, you've had £75 worth so far. What's it bought?
Not a lot.
Apparently Pitman was luckier.
Well, Pitman was a spy.
So are you.
And he lived here for 10 years. He was a part of the place, a backbone. Well-loved, trusted, and respectable. You can't build up that kind of cover in 3 weeks.
No.
When he died, almost the entire village went into mourning.
Village?
Well, that's what we like to call it here. There was a strip of surrounding countryside. Maybe you didn't notice it.
Yes, I did.
Anyway, there was a mass turnout at his funeral. That takes 10 years of pretending to be an honest citizen, living amongst honest citizens. Now, would I get that? I might get a couple of newfound friends from the local pub, providing the funeral was after closing time.
I'd probably turn out for you.
Oh, yes, I was forgetting. Would you like some coffee?
Why not? All honest citizens, eh?
Well, they appear to be.
And most of them employed up there at Prince Royal.
70% of them. Almost medieval, isn't it? That research place stuck up there and this phony village spread out in front of it, depending on it. You expect to hear a bell ring sometime calling the people in from the fields.
Of course, there's no proof yet that Pitman was a spy.
I realise that.
The establishment are checking on possible leaks.
Well, it's a bit late now. They should have done that before that car ran over Pitman and vanished into thin air.
The pubs were closed, probably a drunken driver, scared.
Probably.
Assuming, of course, that he was no spy.
Why, of course. Maybe spies get run over by accident too sometimes.
Yes, except that the chances of it being an accident are fewer.
So what does it mean? We get a tip-off telling us there could be a spy here in this community, and then the suspect's killed by accident or on purpose.
Yes.
Maybe the tip-off was inaccurate.
A lot of them are.
So who gave it?
Came from Berlin's section. One of their contacts inside GDR.
But he can only give us a name, Pitman.
From a considerable distance.
Well, from Berlin or London, it's still only a name.
It's enough to begin with.
Enough to set the whole machine in motion.
Well, that's why the machine is there, isn't it?
So, good information or bad, you pays your money and you takes your choice.
Yes, except that you're being paid to make the choice. What? Well, if Pitman was a spy, we've got a lot to lose. All those employees. Who was helping him? And who might they be helping now?
Well, I still think the tip-off could have been a dud.
We can't afford to take the risk.
You've seen this place. It looks as clean as a church fete.
I don't care about this place. I care about that one up there on the hill. Happens to be an atomic weapons research station. It may be all very sunny and idyllic round here, but there's a quiet panic going on in London.
All right.
And I don't care if this so-called village is peopled with a lot of good chaps. Oh, I don't mind if they play pranks. I mean, I don't care if they make gin stills up there at the lab or make fire tongs to bring home. I don't even care if they smuggle out a bit of platinum wire. But when these good chaps start driving home in their family saloons with little snippets of information for people like Pitman, then I care. I really do care.
Yes.
And Pitman was here for 10 years. If that tip-off was a true one, who was he working for? Whoever he is, he might still be here. Trying to set up another middleman.
So what are you doing?
I am checking on Pitman's background before he came here.
Or wouldn't it be easier to pull in his widow and ask her?
Not yet. Which house does she live in?
Third one along, number 18.
You've been over to borrow a cup of sugar yet?
No, we're still on waiving terms.
Why?
Well, because the woman's still in mourning, that's why. If I'm to do it this way, then I've got to do it tactfully.
Who says?
I say, because it's my assignment. Now, in the same way I can't go too heavy on those employees, I might scare out someone too soon. I mean, providing the whole thing's genuine. That's what you'd want, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I'd want.
Then just give me time. They're in no hurry. Their time, as well as their houses, is mortgaged up to the hilt.
All right, then. Read me your list of employees.
Yeah. Now, there are no banded grades living here.
Fair enough.
James Compton, radiochemist. George Beck, mathematician. Dr. Dennis Hill, physical metallurgist. Dr. Susan Paget, theoretical physicist. John Ferris, principal scientific officer.
What's he like?
Well, I've given him a lot of attention. I think I'd swear he was clean. David Woods, electrical engineer. Roy Greer, physical chemist. Dr. Reginald Pope, systems analyst. Clive Church, electronics engineer.
Well, the grouping wasn't bad.
We've seen better.
We can do this one.
Very good, very good. Better.
I'm losing me dart throwers arm.
Yes, but not your beer drinker's stomach.
It's not that bad, is it?
It is that bad.
Well, there's always the old grapefruit diet again.
If you'd stick to it.
Oh, whose side are you on today?
Oh, no one's. It's Saturday.
Oh, don't remind me.
But it's Saturday?
There's things to do about the house.
That won't get done because you'll be sleeping your beer off.
Rubbish! You don't know me.
That's my misfortune, I do.
Oh.
It's not my throw again, is it?
No, we're off the board. We lost.
Good.
Right, what are we all having? That's right, my love.
No, Jimmy, you got the last round in. It's Clive's turn.
Doesn't matter.
Here.
There's Scotch lemonade and another pint in there.
Come on, Jimmy, let me...
No. Sometimes I feel like shouting twice. Makes me feel good, eh?
Hey!
Put her down, you don't know where she gets to.
Ooh, I should be so lucky. Thanks.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
I thought you were supposed to be going in today.
I was. The project got itself cancelled, thank the Lord.
The money they throw away on cancellation.
No, I wish they'd throw something in my direction.
You need it, Jimmy. The rounds you buy people.
It's not that often.
Seems like it.
What they say? Here today, gone tomorrow.
I've never heard them say it.
You never hear anyone say anything except last orders, please.
Anyway, someone's got to take Charlie Pitman's place.
What?
Oh, top the popularity poll. Well, now what have I said?
Nothing?
He was a nice fellow.
Exactly, it was a nice fellow. I mean, we're not exactly talking ill of the
Look, I
dead,
don't want
are
to talk about him at all, Jimmy. Not now, not so soon after the accident. And not when we're drinking.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I know. But sometimes I miss him.
We all miss him.
Yes.
Salt of the earth was old Charlie.
He was more than that.
You know what I liked about him most of all? The fact that he didn't work at Princeton. So he didn't bore the backsides off everybody by talking shop.
Meaning me?
Didn't
You've
necessarily...
accused me of that in the
Oh,
past.
look, for God's sake, we all do it, don't we? We're a close community. Most of us work at the damn place.
Charlie didn't, and that's why you liked him.
Partly. And partly because he wasn't interested in how we godforsaken castaways made a buck.
He used to listen, though.
Of course he used to listen.
He used to ask questions.
Out of politeness. He was a good listener.
Yes.
Right, I'm off home.
To do what?
Snore.
I shall be digging the garden.
Oh, no, you won't. You'll be asleep and you'll be snoring. And then you'll wake up and play those terrible old records.
Nothing like marital harmony.
Oh.
Come on, precious.
See you tonight?
Why not? Ah, Terry.
Hello, Clive. You just off?
Yes, before I get nagged to death.
Right, what are we having?
No meat. Tonic will do fine.
And,
Scotch, thank you.
pleasure. Terry's tonic and a scotch, if you please, cupcake.
Oh, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry.
A friend of mine from the smoke, Alan Ryan.
Good to meet you. Are you a sales scout like Terry here?
No, I've played safe. I'm in insurance.
Ooh, good for you. Here we are, then.
You're not having one?
No. I'm a stickler for old habits. I cleaned the car this morning. Now, me and the family are going off for our Saturday spin. The kids in the back, the wife in the front. A steady 35 miles an hour in the middle of the road to avoid the puddles. See you both.
Yeah, I see you, Jimmy.
Well, Terry, old lad. Old mate.
James Compton, radio chemist, senior scientific officer. Wants to miss the boat somewhere, never make principal scientific officer, not at 46.
Children at private school.
Well, the girl is age 16. Boy goes to the county primary. Hello. Compton's on about $4,000 a year. Took out a mortgage for $12,000, it's now down to $8,000. Has about £170 in credit, local bank.
Not alone, is it?
No,
So how long's he been at Prince Royal?
14 years.
What about the other couple?
Clive Church. His wife doesn't work, 2 kids in infant school, 1 in primary. Church's engineering grade PTO 1. He's got a 10 grand mortgage, earns $360 a year. Has money in the bank 2 weeks out of every 4.
Struggling.
Existing.
So how do you get on with your newfound friends?
Oh, they like me.
I am glad.
Well, I mean, they're bound to. I drive the right kind of car. That means I probably vote for the right kind of political party. Means I can probably read a wine list.
What other background information have you got?
Enough for 6 more personnel.
to tell me about it on the way back to the car. Oh, what about Mrs. Pitman?
Well, I suppose she'd better be next in line.
Oh, yes, I think she'd better be. What about exercising some of your famous tact?
As good as done. This afternoon, she's going to have a flat tire, of all things.
I wouldn't say that was very neighbourly of you.
Just a straightforward failing to stop. Whoever he was going at speed, hit both man and dog. They were killed outright.
Nobody saw it?
No.
Nobody heard it?
Well, one woman said she heard a fairly high-powered car driving fast around about that time.
You checked all the cars in the neighbourhood?
Yes, especially those over 2 litre.
No damage?
No. Besides, we did a thorough test of the bodies of the man and dog. Some oil, a lot of dirt, no paint. So why are you people interested?
Prince Royal is a security area.
But the village isn't.
So we'd like to know what's going on around here.
Including road traffic accidents.
Could be of interest.
But the victim didn't even work in Prince Royal.
I know. He's what they used to call a gentleman of independent means. Retired early from business.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying there is. He's exactly the right sort of person to live in a place like Prince Royal Village, wouldn't you say?
He was respectable.
Exactly. Kept his garden tidy. Went to bed in good time.
There's nothing wrong with that, are there?
No.
Look, I am simply saying that we get no trouble from that village.
No, it's a regular showplace. Nice place to live.
Mr. Ryan, if there is something going on in the Prince Royal area that I should know about...
Your chief super will be informed. And he, in turn, no doubt, will inform you. Of course, if there is an emergency, it's just possible I might ignore protocol and come straight to you. Bye.
Would you like to wash your hands?
Yes, thank you.
Come in. Come in.
Thank you.
There's a sink there, or there's a basin in the bathroom if you'd prefer
No,
to use
this is fine.
I'll get you a towel. Here.
Thank you. Now, you'll have to get that tire to a garage. If you like, I can take it in.
Oh, no, it's all right. No, I have to go to Fellington in any case. I'll do it then.
Fine, thank you.
Oh, it was good of you to help.
Oh, not at all.
I suppose I shall have to start learning about things like punctures. You see, my husband was the real old-fashioned kind of family man. He did everything that needed to be done. The other day, I had to replace an electric light bulb. It was like a new experience.
Yeah. Well, I've only been here about 3 weeks, but I did hear about your husband's accident. I'm sorry. From what I gather, he was a very popular man.
Oh, yes, he was.
And the people here...
Oh, they've been marvellous. They're good people, fine people.
Yeah. Will he go on living here?
Oh, yes. Yes, it wouldn't be right to leave. No, not when everyone's been so kind and considerate.
How long had you been married?
20 years.
No children?
No. I couldn't have any, you see. My husband, he was a great man for routine, punctuality. You could set your clock by him. That night, when he took the dog for a walk, and he was 5 minutes longer than he should have been, I knew there was something wrong. It was a kind of signal.
Well, I'd better get along.
What? Oh, yes. Thank you.
Well, Mrs. Pitman is a nice, pleasant, ordinary woman.
Who could have been married to a spy.
Well, perhaps she didn't know. Still doesn't.
How long were they married?
20 years.
I'm waiting for 2 bits of confirmation. Pitman's background, and whether or not there has been a leak of information from Prince Royal.
And if they tally?
Well, then we'll know, won't we? And we'll have to start disturbing the tranquility. See, I'm not getting a lot of help. Not up here. Prince Royal has led a safe existence. In the old CND days of duffel coats and banners, they might have had a bit of trouble. But not now. They've settled. I doubt very much if they'd recognize a leak of information, even if it was shown to them.
Well, small amounts over a number of years might be difficult to register.
Yes, and the local police are definitely hostile. Leave Prince Royal Village alone. It's a nice place.
Well, they could be right. Could be just a nice, dull place. I mean, what are we basing our suspicions on? One piece of unconfirmed information.
Our Berlin contact is still working on it.
Oh, good for him.
Yes, well, I'm off to town. I want those confirmations.
And me?
You? Well, you better go on leading the good life, haven't you? In between watering your plants and feeding your tropical fish. That German report must have had some basis. I think this village is hiding something. I don't think it's quite as good as it pretends.
You owe me 50p.
What?
I got up this morning.
Yes, you're improving.
Of course I am. I'm a family man, aware of my responsibilities. 50p.
Haven't got it.
Well, make me a cup of tea instead, then. So, what shall I have first? Last year's holiday in the Lake District? Or our family at the swimming pool?
I think you better settle for the Lake District.
As good as done.
I made this for you. But I was baking, and I thought, well, a man living alone.
Well, thank you. Now, come in.
Well, I can't stay long. I'm off to Fellington for the day.
Fellington?
Yes, I go there often nowadays. I go to church there, and then I have lunch, and then I spend the afternoon in the museum.
I see.
Are you going to stay in the village, Mr. Sullivan?
Well...
Oh, I hope you do settle down here. You're the right kind.
Well, it depends on my job, of course, and then there's a problem of buying a house.
Well, won't you get married?
Married?
Oh, you should get married. It's easier now. The good things in life are so important. They're hard to come by, but one is prepared to make a lot of sacrifices for the good things, the safe things.
Mrs. Pitman,
I'm not in any hurry for the plate. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you.
All set up?
Yes.
Seen them?
Yes. They're not very good.
Oh, you said it every time.
Well, they're not as good as the last lot. Let's hope you can do better when it's your turn.
Ah, sure.
Hello, Mrs. Church.
Tomato juice as usual?
Well, I'll get my own. Actually, I only came in for tobacco anyway.
Oh, I see.
So I'll, if you don't mind.
Ah. How many of us?
About half a dozen.
Like a bunch of overgrown kids.
Well, it's one way to kill a Sunday afternoon. So I thought I'd have a fortnight off, do some decorating.
Decorating? Your room is supposed to be getting smaller and smaller, the amount of paint you keep slapping on the walls.
It's not that often.
It is. You're a do-it-yourself ball.
Clive!
Well, he is. There's other things in life, Jimmy.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Like selling your soul.
I tried that. I couldn't get a good price.
Right, let's go. Ralph, Joe, Eddie, we're off. What about you, John? Are you coming?
Oh, I didn't know.
No, of course you didn't. Ah, Terry, just the one to make the numbers up.
What's that?
Over at my place, come on.
Enjoy yourself.
Don't worry, John, we won't start without you.
I don't care if you do. I mean, it's just a laugh, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. Grab a chair, Terry.
Oh, what is it?
Holiday pics. Every home should have them. The lights, Ralph. I tell you, they're not fantastic. Yeah, she has, hasn't she?
Good Lord.
Oh. Not your cup of tea, eh?
No.
Like a bunch of kids.
I gave up after the first one.
Don't blame you.
A tonic, please. And you?
Oh, please.
And one in there?
Of course, you should have been warned.
Oh, that's all right.
Clive's terrible at assessing people. He thinks everyone will enjoy his film shows. Everyone will appreciate his big band sounds of the 40s.
How often do they have these travelogues?
Every Sunday? You surprised?
Not really. I have seen most of it before.
You just don't like them?
Bores me.
Only there's a few things you could be surprised about in our little village.
Like what?
Never mind.
What about the late Mr. Pitman?
What about him?
Well, I've heard a great deal about the man. He go in for this kind of Sunday entertainment, too?
Oh, he was broad-minded enough. You know, live and let live, but...
But what?
Well, he was a wonderful man. Full of self-respect. So honest.
Blue movies?
Yes?
In dear old Prince Royal Village?
Right here.
Who was there?
Some of the fellows on my list, including Ferris. Well, there's no law against that kind of thing anymore. Not in a private house.
There's no law against private sexual deviation at all.
No.
Except that carried to an extreme can be useful to a blackmailer.
Yes. So how did you get on?
Well, there's no trace of Pitman's business record. So far, apparently, there's no record of him at all before he came here.
He'd been married for 20 years.
Yes, I'm checking on that, too.
And Mrs. Pitman?
They're trying to find out what she did, too, over 10 years ago.
You mean the pair of them could have just appeared here with no kind of background?
No apparent one.
Well, there's 10 years of marriage buried somewhere.
Is that?
Well, there must be. That woman, she's so straight.
What's wrong?
What?
You didn't say that as if you meant it.
Oh. No, it's just that I turned her house over today, and she hasn't really got rid of her husband's things. As if she's preserving something.
Well, makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, she hasn't been a widow for long.
Yeah, but what's been preserved looks odd somehow.
How?
Well, separate beds.
Well, why not?
There's separate rooms. And her bits and pieces, they're separated. Like separate identities, separate lives.
Well, some people live like that.
Not many.
But if what you're suggesting is right, it means they must have been set up here as long as 10 years ago.
Well, if it's right, we've no proof yet.
No.
And I'd take a lot of convincing from what I've seen of that woman, what I've heard about her husband.
We can all make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the churches are holding a small party tonight.
You invited?
Of course.
Do you think they'd mind if you took on a little moral support?
I don't mind. I heard that. Yeah. Which one? What do you think?
I've been up at the Royal for 14 years. I'm a good timekeeper. People tell me I'm a good scientist, and I'm a fully paid-up member of the IPCS.
But you're not happy.
Me? No, I'm bloody miserable. I'm marking time.
I'll move on, then.
It's too late for that. I want his job. He's not likely to retire early, not on tomato juice.
Don't, for God's sake.
Oh, I'd love to.
Tell us about insurance, Alan.
That's nothing very much to tell, is it?
I know. You mean you don't want to talk shop?
That's right.
Don't blame you. My trouble is I can't keep my mouth shut.
Bit awkward in your job, isn't it?
Why?
Well, don't you have such a thing as security?
Oh, not that tired old secrets act. That's played out.
You don't abide by it.
The state I'm in these days, I wouldn't know a secret if I fell over it.
Now for something really good. From the days when I knew how to make music.
I knew we couldn't resist those terrible elements. Come on, I'll take you to a place of safety and sanity.
What's holding it up?
You know what you said about Jimmy? Well, you're a big band ball.
Shut up, will you?
Well, I wish I could ask you if it reminded you of the war, but I can't.
Why not?
Well, you're not old enough.
Are you really a flatterer? Or do you just collect surprises?
Who's the girl?
What girl?
The Clive's dancing with.
Why, do you fancy her?
Nope.
She's just one of his girlfriends.
Well, don't you mind?
Not at all. We have an arrangement. You don't know very much about our little village, do you?
I'm learning.
Everyone's at it.
Everyone?
Everyone.
for me. Ryan. Yes? Ah. When? For how long? Yes, well, you give him a pat on the back and tell him to keep trying. Well, I'll be here. Well, all right. If you want to leave a message, you can leave it at Fellington Police Station. Yes, right.
What's up?
Well, our Berlin contact has come up with more than a name this time. It seems there has been a leak of information from Prince Royal over an approximate period of 7 years.
Can Prince Royal confirm it?
Knowing them, I very much doubt it.
Well, it's been a useful 7 years then. Fun and games for some and Christmas every day of the week for Pitman.
It's time we started being ourselves, I think.
We're going to start questioning now.
No, tomorrow. I'd like them to be sober when we start.
Oh. Come on, sunshine. It's time to get up. It's nearly 7 o'clock. Clive. Time to get up, Clive. Oh. Clive, wake up. It's the police. They're coming here.
Thanks. You have somewhere to go, I hope.
Oh, there's a spare desk in my DC's office.
Ah, good.
Is this likely to be for very long?
Sorry?
It's a takeover bid.
Just as long as it takes to interview 6 honest citizens from Prince Royal Village.
You need my office to do that. My men to fetch them in.
Yes.
You could have interviewed them in their homes.
Not so effective. Besides, I think these so-called villagers have been pampered quite long enough, don't you?
What?
Well, they've had you to look after them and their property for years.
There's been no crime there.
No?
And if there has, then I shall be told about it.
You'll be told if and when it's your turn. Just a couple of hours, Inspector. Then I'll hand you back your office and your crime rate.
Intact.
Well, I'm afraid I can't promise that.
Excuse me. Terry.
Morning, Mr. Compton.
Mister, what are you talking about? What are you doing here?
Would you like to come this way, please?
I get dragged here somewhere unearthly hour in the morning. I was on my way to work.
You won't be going to work today, Mr. Compton. Prince Royal have been notified.
Going to work?
This way.
Terry.
This way.
To quote you, Mr. Compton, you wouldn't know a secret even if you fell over it.
Security, sir.
That's right.
You mean all this time you two...
Does that mean that you think that secrets are of little value?
No, of course not.
You see, I don't trust you, Mr. Compton. I don't like the way you conduct your life. You talk too much.
I haven't given away any secrets.
You know who has?
No. Look, I've done nothing wrong.
I might be prepared to believe that.
Look, I've got a hangover.
Pity.
What do you want?
I'm going to question you, Mr. Compton. I'm going to read you the Riot Act. My version of it.
How long am I going to be kept away from work?
Well, it might be for quite a while.
What?
You see, security is a very tricky, very detailed business. I want to know all about you, Mr. Compton. We might discover things you didn't even know yourself.
I reckon I know why you've sent for me.
Do you?
Yes. You see, I think I had you tumble last night. I may be a fool, but I'm not thick.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that.
Security?
That's right.
Oh, don't bother to prove it. Been a leak, is there?
Maybe.
Well, I can tell you one thing before you start asking your questions. I may be a useless bum, but I'm no traitor.
That's not for me to decide.
That'll be your friend. Dear old Alan in insurance.
That's right.
In there, is he?
Yes.
So how many of us have been called in for questioning?
About half a dozen of you.
Including old Ferris?
Yes.
You'll be lucky. Just seen him taking off in his car in a hurry.
When?
About 20 minutes ago.
You stay there? Would you mind waiting outside a minute, Mr. Compton?
Ah, neighbour. I was looking for you. I wanted to borrow your pinking shears.
Ferris?
Yes, he left home 20 minutes ago. I'd better get him to put a call out.
Right.
Hello? Yes, he's here.
Ron? Oh, they did. Well, wasn't that nice of them? Yes, that's very useful. What? Mrs. Who? Yes. 64? Where? Yes. Thank you very much.
Our friend in Berlin again?
Yes.
Good news?
Well, I suppose you could call it that. According to his information, the other side were responsible for getting rid of Pitman. It was no accident.
Well, no wonder the local police couldn't trace the car. Probably came a long way to commit murder.
Yes.
And Mrs. Pitman?
Well, there's news about her, too. She and her husband were married on the 15th of February, 1964.
It's 10 years ago.
Yeah. 1 month before they came here to set up home.
Oh, Mr. Sullivan.
My name is Ryan.
A friend of yours?
That's right.
Well, do come in, both of you.
Thank you.
How was the cake?
Fine, thank you.
Good. I'll make you both a cup of tea.
Mrs. Pitman, I have to tell you that we're from security.
He said you'd never come. Not now.
Who said that, Mrs. Pitman? Your husband? Was he a spy? Was he?
Well, I suppose you must know or you wouldn't be asking me.
Yes, we do know.
Yet he said you'd never come.
Why?
Well, because he'd finished with them. He told them that he didn't want to continue with things.
What was his real name, Mrs. Pitman? Because we have no record of his existence up until 10 years ago.
I never knew his real name. I don't suppose I wanted to.
The marriage was arranged?
Yes.
Did you know what you were doing?
Well, I knew that I was getting married at last, yes.
To a spy?
But I never quite really knew what he was up to until...
Until when?
Until he told me that he'd finished with it all.
For 10 years?
You don't know what a marriage meant to me, I suppose. Marriage to an honest, respectable man.
Honest?
We lived well as children.
We?
My sister and I. There were beautiful things in the house. Then my parents died. My sister died. I had some money. It lasted a few years, and then nothing. For a long time, I lived in poverty. There was nothing beautiful, nothing safe.
Until you met the man who called himself Charles Pitman.
Yes.
An arranged marriage. Ready-made respectability.
It was better than nothing. It was better than what I had.
They gave you that. They gave you a wedding which was never consummated.
He said that it wouldn't be right. He was always such an honourable man. But he said that things would change. Once he'd finished with them, things would change.
You never finished with them, Mrs. Pitman.
But he said that things would be different then. He said that we could be a real man and wife.
So they gave you a wedding.
That's right.
And they gave you money.
Yes.
And they gave you safety. They gave you back your beautiful things. They also gave you a funeral, Mrs. Pitman.
What?
They murdered him.
Oh, no.
You see, you can't retire with people like that, Mrs. Pitman.
Oh!
They don't believe in happy endings.
Oh, no.
Someone at Prince Royal was giving your husband information. Who was it? Was it John Ferris? Well, why him? Why did he help your husband?
He had to.
Why?
Charlie used to take him to London. He arranged girls for him.
You mean he was blackmailing Ferris?
Charles called it an exchange, a business deal.
An honourable man.
Oh, but he was. He was a gentleman.